So they built the station in 1976, and I came on in '84. And when I came on, there was 3 men per shift, and we had 3 ambulances, 2 engines, and a couple of brush trucks. I believe that's 7. And that's pretty well what we had in there, out in the bay, that is. And over the years, because we have grown, we assist other departments in the county, which are volunteer, on grass fires, and they'll assist us on grass fires. But our EMS has grown over the years, and we have made a lot of calls. So we now have 4 ambulances, and we needed a tanker to fill up the brush trucks when we're out on scene. We've got a ladder truck now. That came about because of when we lost the 89er Theater quite a few years back. We saw how the dividend of having the dividend of having a ladder truck, when Enid brought their ladder truck and El Reno brought their ladder truck up here to assist us putting out that fire. We are the only full-time fire department in the county, and we do a lot more things than just city fires. We run quite a bit of area in the county, as does the ambulance service. So to kind of give you an example, in Oklahoma City, they have different stations there that has different equipment, and if they needed a certain piece of equipment, they would call this station. If they needed another piece of equipment, they'd call this station. And sometimes, depending on the size of the fire or what the fire is, they would call multiple stations. Kingfisher doesn't have that luxury. We are one station that has to have all the equipment, but it's just use the same manpower we have every day. So based on that is why we have so much equipment and no place to put it. About 25 years ago, our city manager had determined that we were lack of space at that point even. So he was talking to the station and our chief at the time, and we were talking about what we could do. He mentioned putting a substation out south of town, around 13th and Victory. The city has some property out there, and at that time, we thought, oh, this will be great. We're going to be able to have another station, and we can put some equipment out there, and we can man that. Plus, that also would increase our ISO rating to a better score. Well, that talked about it, and we talked about it, and went on, and we talked about it some more. And that city manager left. We talked about it again, off and on. At that point, I believe I was one of the senior captains, and this is about probably about 10 years ago. We really started getting serious about wanting to build a station. And we started out by trying to develop the land behind us. We purchased that property and was going to try and build a station back there. But due to the alleyway having all of the utilities, the engineers told us that that was not going to be feasible. So that kind of went by the side, and we talked about it. We started really talking about other options and where we could build this at. But after we determined that we couldn't find a place, was talking with the Beebe family, and they have a piece of property south of town, but not everybody, a lot of people has tried to buy that land from them, and they just didn't want to sell it. Well, when the city approached them to put a fire station there, they were excited. They thought they would do it for a fire station, but they really didn't want it for anything else. So negotiations started, and we ended up purchasing that property with some ARFA funds. And then we got a hold of a firm out of Oklahoma City, and they come up and did a drawing for us of what we could initially do back there. But we didn't hire them. We were just trying to see what the cost was going to be for doing that. And that just kind of sat on the table for a little while. And then the city really got serious about 4 years ago, and they put out RFQs to hire a firm. We did hire one. Unfortunately, this firm had only done one other station and really didn't quite have the ability to build a station for us that we needed. The city eventually decided not to go with that firm and then put out bids again. And that's where we were fortunate enough to get BRW, which is our current architect, and they've built over 500 fire stations, and they have given the city multiple drawings to choose from, and they have really worked well with the city to give them as much information as they can to build a station that's going to be what we need, not just the fire department, but what the city needs as a fire station.